He believed Lou loved him, and he believed that it was the right thing to go back, but he didn't know she was still seeing Mark behind his back. So I'd got my daughter into bed, we was watching a film, having a cuddle, and I think it was about 10 minutes past 12, I got a missed call. I texted the person back, I said I can't talk on the phone, and they were like, oh, can you phone me when you're free, it's important. So I phoned them back at 12 minutes past 12, and that's when I got told my dad was dead. By the time me and my brother drove from Banbury to Banbury, we pulled up outside the house, the forensics teams were going in the back garden and everything, the house was cornered off, taped off. I was talking to Louise through the bedroom window, and she shouted down, she was like, it's my fault, he's dead. Neighbours were out the front. One of the neighbours told me that she was sorry, that she believed it was her brother that had killed my dad. So obviously I spoke to the police, I was like, do you know who's done it? Find them.
Come round the corner, put your hands against the wall.
Within an hour after that, obviously they'd made arrests.
Put your hands on your head.
Then on the way back to Banbury to the hotel, my little brother was in the car and he was like, I'll tell you a story. He was like, you know, our dad's dead, he was stabbed. And then he started talking, he was like, telling me how it was Marky come into the kitchen covered in blood saying it's done, he's dead. I had no idea that anyone had gone through the house. I knew that my dad was killed in the garden. I didn't know anyone had gone in the house, there was blood anywhere, I had no idea. So I mentioned this to the police. But for him to tell me that there was blood and things in the house and that they'd went through the house, that was then confirmed. At this point, I already knew she was involved. I didn't know to what extent, but I knew she was in a relationship with my dad's murderer. Fast forwarding it to the first court date, we had to sit in the waiting room with them. They were laughing, smiling, taking selfies. Mark and Travis and Louise showed absolutely no remorse at court. No remorse before Louise was arrested. She was pretending that everything was fine. You wouldn't have thought her partner had just been killed, her children's dad had just been killed. She was more concerned what was going to happen with Mark. She wanted to know if he was going to be kept in police custody. When I asked for some clothes for my dad for his funeral, she literally gave me every single item of his clothing. To not say anything was nearly impossible. It's broke me. I've suffered severe anxiety, depression. I've been on medication for sleeping because I've had nightmares where similar things are happening to me and my child. I can't go out when it's dark. I'm locking my car as soon as I get in it. I'm losing friends because of how low I've been feeling. I've lost my work. I've lost myself, really. There was no need for that motive. It would have been so simple for them to just leave. Every night he'd have a shower, shave. It was his routine. We knew his routine. He'd then make a cup of tea and walk down to the garage. And obviously it was that routine that gives them timing for them to know when he was going to be walking towards his garage. If she'd have just let him go when they first broke up, he would not have made anything hard for her to move on. He would have supported her no matter what, like he did with my mum. When him and my mum broke up, they remained really good friends. All three of them made sure my dad was taken from his children, his family, his loved ones. I haven't really got words to explain how I feel about them, because right now I don't know how I feel about them. I'm not them. I'd never want them to be taken, but at the same time I don't want them to ever take another person. It will never bring my dad back, but I'm hoping it will make people realise the consequences of carrying knives and murdering people. Cowards, only cowards carry knives. It's not for self-defence, it's not for protection. You're carrying a knife, you've got the intent of using a knife. you're using a knife, you're going to take a life. There's no reason to carry knives. If you're scared, get help. If you're in trouble, get help. People say, use your fists, sort it out. I don't agree with that either, but knives will kill, and they do kill. A lot of people every single day losing their life to knife crime. We've lost a good friend of mine, and now my dad, to knife crime. A couple of days before my dad was murdered, I suffered really bad with my mental health. It was coming up to Connor's anniversary, and I messaged my dad because I was going to drive my car into a lake. I ended up calling him. He was asking where I was. I laughed. I said to him, I'm just going into the shop to get some ice cream to eat my feelings. So I was like, it's okay, I'm not going to end my life. I was like, I can do this. He said to me, he was like, you can do this. He was like, you've come so far, you're an amazing mum. He was just telling me how proud he was of me. He told me that it wasn't my time to go, and I had to live my life for Connor, and he made me promise him that I'd never think of suicide again. So then 3 days later, when I got that call to tell me that my dad was dead, suicide was not an option for me. Justice was the only way forward.